Hello y'all on YouTube, this is Rob from Rob's Nerdy Knives. Today we have a very special review, impressions of a knife that I've had in my collection for just a little bit. Got this knife, really excited about it, pretty cool. This is the Griffin X series. Let's talk about it. All right, today we're looking at the Griffin X series, a very, very cool knife made by Bestech for Griffin Company. Griffin Company is the designer of it. The name of the knife is the X series. This is the carbon fiber inlay, titanium scales, frame locked in there, but the bolstered titanium frame lock because of the carbon fiber scales. Titanium milled deep pocket carry clip, hidden hardware, very nice. You have two T8s and a T8, two T8s over here and a T8 there. Now, in order to get to this, you have to take these off, and then you have to take this off. Then you can get to this, and you can take it off. I mean, it's a little bit of work, but it's pretty easy. Nicely dead centered. It is maybe orange peel. No, it's stone washed right there. So it is a top flipper, front flipper, hollow grind, magna cut, very pokey, sharp tip finger there. It's a very sharp, pokey tip. So definitely for poking, getting into things, dog food, cat food, fertilizer, mulch, all sorts of stuff. Nice jimping on the spine, works really well. It is a wide knife, so it reminds me a little bit of my couple of knives that I've had recently that are really nice, but just way too big, too wide for the hands. So if you got large hands, you're gonna love this. I think it's gonna be great for the big hands, just not really kind of a great hand, great size for large hands, you know, medium hands, stuff like that. And I've got shorter fingers, so that's always a little challenging for me to find the right ergonomics. But it is pretty cool. It's got a fuller front flipper as a deployment. The hollow grind is beautiful, stone washed with a polished stone washed. I like that. Jimping is excellent on top. I don't feel any sharp edges anywhere, so that's nice. I mean, it's got some corners, and it's definitely a little industrial looking in that regard. So, but it is nice and square, so it does hold well. It's not super thin where that would dig into you, so it works really well and kind of in the bend of your hand, so that's nice. Pocket clip is not the absolute perfect. I think it's a little short. I mean, it's a little long, and it kind of has a little sharp edges, but I think that's because of my short hands. If I were to carry this like a larger hand, it's perfectly in that nice pocket area. So I think this is really made for, like, if you have large hands, just really long fingers, or if you have extra large, double extra large, triple extra large hands, I think you would really like this. It does have Skiff Caged Bearings. I put that on there, so that's really nice. They fit in really well. Like all of those features, cutaway is really nice. You can see some chamfering on there with a little texture. That's really cool, easy to get to. It doesn't have a super crazy strong lock bar, so it's pretty comfortable. Engagement up here is about 50%. That's really nice. No blade play, no pivot lash. Let's see here. Let's listen to the detent. Nice and clickety. Yep, nice and clickety one more time. Any pivot lash? Nope, no pivot lash. Does reverse flick pretty well, and you got two flipping options, and that's about it. All right. The material's cool. I don't know what the HRC is. I've heard maybe 62 would be very reasonable for Bestech, maybe even 63. I don't know. I know some of them have been getting a little higher in some of their heat treats, so I think that's pretty cool. But I think it'd be safe to guess maybe 62. All right. Really, really cool. It's got a pivot collar on there. It's pretty basic titanium. I guess you could have a fancy one if you wanted to. All the T8 hardware. I love that. I love the cutout on the lock bars on the inside, but it's bolstered, so it doesn't really matter. There is a lanyard little sort of thing here, so you can put a lanyard on there. So not been prioritized, so I think that's cool because the lanyard people are happy and the people who don't like lanyards are happy. Pretty relatively deep pocket carry clip. You can see that. That works well with your lanyards if you do, but if you don't, you know, it's just almost relatively completely hidden. I like that. Backspacer's cool. I don't feel any sharp points anywhere. The top flipper does work. It's nicely tuned. You can do various deployments. I like that. And then when you reverse the handle over in there, you can do it as well. But you notice I have to stretch out. So if you have longer fingers, this is a much easier knife to work. But for me, it's a challenge to get my hand stretched out. I feel like I'm playing really wide, long neck guitar, right? I really have to reach for those chords, especially if you get like some of those really crazy stretched chords. So, yeah, that's the reason why this is probably going to be a catch and release. I think it's a great knife. Everything I looked at it is pretty cool. So, the blade, the material, how it closes, it's all nice. Let's go ahead and do some measurements real quick. I'm going to guess maybe 3.5 ounces, maybe almost 4 ounces. I don't know, somewhere around there. Let's see. 3.7 ounces, right in the middle. All right, so 3.7 ounces, not bad. Definitely pretty cool. You'll see this is where the length does show up a little bit here, I think. So we're looking at a knife that is going to be, probably just, I'd say 1/16 shy of 8.5 inches. So definitely not a short knife. Looking on the inside here, you got about 4 1/4. If you go all the way to the choke position, you have about 4 and I want to say 3 3/4, 4 3/4 of grip. And you can see from my large meaty fingers, I mean, there's plenty of room. You definitely have a really large hand can absolutely get in there and utilize it and leverage it. So I think that's cool. All right, let's look at the blade stock thickness. It doesn't look super thick, but it doesn't look super thin. So I'm going to guess it's definitely over 120 thousandths of an inch, but it's certainly below 150, 140 thousandths of an inch. Let's see. Oops. Might help turn it on. All right, so let's see. What are we looking at? 135 thousandths of an inch. All right, so it's kind of in between there. Not bad. Definitely a good blade stock thickness. Does come to that pokey tip, so there is that. All right, what's the category for this one? It retails for $335, so this definitely falls into the higher end category. If you find it on secondary market, it's probably going to be in the regular category under $300, I'm pretty sure. So there you go. Is it an EDC knife, hard use, and a collection piece? Any knife can be a collection piece. This definitely falls into it where I think it's more reasonable. Also, hard use. I think you could do hard use, but remember, it's a very thin tip, so you got to be careful with that, poking in, stabbing, stuff like that. That could break off. You know, just keep that in mind. Even though it is a magnet cut tip and should be stronger, I get it. But just keep that in mind. Definitely EDC, I would say. You know, to me, this doesn't scream crazy, ridiculous, expensive. It screams like, you know, a nice carry. So there you go. Overall design, handles, open and close, textures. The handle design's not bad. It is a little, I wish it wasn't as industrial, a square on the corners. I think it could be chamfered. That'd make it a little more comfortable. Probably a little easier for me to manipulate because these corners are hard corners and they really force me in specific spots for me to be able to do what I need to do. So there is that. The open and closing is beautiful. It's got beautiful buttery action. I did put skiffs in there, so that does help. As far as jimping and as far as a clip lanyard, the clip is pretty long, but it is rounded. It does go in and out of the pocket, I think, relatively decently. The lanyard is there, available for it. You could use it, but it doesn't have to be. Ooh, did I just cut myself there? Again, that's one of those things where it's a sharp, long tip. It's really long. It's not easy peasy kind of carry and manipulate knife for me. So that's one of the frustrating things. You know, it's almost, you know, it's too long in that regard. All right. So overall feel, I like it. I like how it feels. It's definitely a quality knife. It's just, it's too long for me. I can't reach. I got to stretch my fingers. So I need something that's a little shorter. And this is not it. So that's why it's going to be a kind of a catch and release. Just know that. As far as fidget factor, I'm going to have to give it a 4. You got 2 fullers that work well, frame lock, sub frame lock, or bolstered frame lock, so that works well. Left hand, it does work. You just gotta get in the right spot for my short fingers, right? I can get it to work. It's never, you know, super easy on the deployment. So yeah, that's probably what's going to impact my overall fidget factor. So because of those things, what is the fidgety goodness of this knife? I'm going to give it probably an 90, an A-. I think it's not bad. It's decent. A- as far as that, could it be better? Yeah, it could absolutely be better, but it could also probably be just a little bit shorter, and that would be better for me. It'd help me out. But I think there's more refinement that could be done on this one for sure. But it's still a great knife. I think the Quality Bestech did a fantastic job. It's an overall decent design. I do like the look of it, and the feel of it's certainly cool. All right, so 90%. Overall thoughts, is it recommended? You know, yeah, I like it. I'm going to recommend it. I'm going to say it's really recommended for larger hands, longer fingers. I think you're going to really, really enjoy it. I think it's definitely recommended. If you got shorter, meaty fingers like me, you know, take it for a grain of salt. Maybe you like the look of it. Maybe you like to only open and close it with one hand. I get it. That's all cool, and it could definitely be that. And there you go. Then you're all set. If you're looking for something, you're hoping it's going to be super easy left and right hand, you might think twice about this. I'd still think it's a great knife. If I had longer fingers like all my brothers, I seem to have the shortest hand. This would be a much easier knife to manipulate. Could I learn it? I probably could, but it's just, I don't reach for it. Every time I reach for it, it doesn't draw me, right? And so my rule is, if I have a knife, it doesn't draw me, I don't continue to use it, it's catch and release. I got to bring it up for sale. So that's what I'm doing. But I still think it's a great knife. I think as a result of that 4 out of 10, the fidgety goodness being 90%, I think it's recommended. I think it's definitely a recommended knife. You know, if you're asking me for short, stubby, meaty fingers like myself, is it recommended? No, it's not. So it is my perspective on there for the audience, what it's trying to do, right? I will say that it's not super easy. It's not just clear cut whatever, easy, whatever. So there you go. Yeah, so recommended. I think it's kind of cool. So let's go ahead and take a nice close-up and look at this and zoom in a little bit. So there's the hollow grind blade stock thickness. You can definitely see that thin pokey tip. Nice jimping on top of the blade. No sharp edges. I think relatively no sharp edges. We have the hollow grind on this side. So on this side it says MagnaCut, and then on this side it has a little Griffin Company logo. Again, hollow grind there, which is really nice. And let's look at the back of this. It's a scale with a hidden hardware, T8s for the hardware. Captive pivot, yeah, on this side, and over there is 2 inlays. So in order to get in this, you got to take 2 inlays off to get the screw off for that, and then there you go, and you take it apart and put it back together again. That's how we would probably check that. So yeah, I like it. I think that's not bad. Let's take a zoom out so we can get some pictures. All right, so there is the blade, the Griffin Company X series. Definitely a cool knife. If you haven't had a chance to check it out, I think it's definitely worth checking out. All right, so I do like that. I think I might take a couple of pictures while we're doing that. Yeah, okay, so yeah, definitely recommend it. So if you're looking for a knife, you want something longer, wider, because you got longer fingers, this might be it. This might absolutely be it. I think you would very much enjoy this knife. I think that would be perfect. I'm just not really perfect for my hands, my ergonomics. So I just take that with a grain of salt. Doesn't mean I don't like it, doesn't mean I don't appreciate it. It just means I know the audience is not me, and as a result, it doesn't feel like it's for me. So I like to have knives that feel like they're for me. Call me weird, but that's my approach. All right, so based on all this, yeah, I like the knife. I recommend it. I think it's cool. I think it's something definitely worth checking out. But if you have comments, if you have thoughts on this, you own one, let me know. I'd love to hear from you as well. I think that would be cool. All right, if you found this content fun, interesting, worthwhile, or informative, would you please consider hitting the like button down below? And if you've already hit that like button, maybe consider hitting the subscribe button. Subscribing and liking the videos really helps out the channel, allows the channel to produce more content, do more things, ultimately do more things for you guys. So thank you to everyone out there who watches the videos and enjoys the content, enjoys the live stream. I sure appreciate you. Thank you. If you haven't already, also maybe hit that notification button down below as well, so you can be notified of future content and upcoming releases. So yeah, thank you, thank you, thank you. I also want to say a big shout out, big thank you to all my channel members. I sure appreciate you guys. You guys sometimes are the reasons why I keep going and keep doing this. So I'm humbled and grateful to you guys. So just want to say thank you. I also want to say thank you to just about all the regular members. I appreciate you guys. Everyone who watches the content, who's part of this, I am just so grateful. So thank you. If you haven't already, maybe hit me up or check me out over at Instagram at robs_nerdy_knives. Again, that's on Instagram at robs_nerdy_knives. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day and a great week. Bye.